Welcome in to the PFF NFL Daily. Today, talking more AFC North, Sam. It's been AFC North week here on the Daily, but the Baltimore Ravens laid an egg on Thursday Night Football. Credit to the Miami Dolphins, but we got to figure out what the Ravens are at this point. The AFC in general, what a mess, Sam. The Ravens were favored by more than a touchdown in this game, had 3 points well into the fourth quarter. Never really had a shot against the Dolphins in this one. So what do we do with the Ravens at this point?
Yeah, this was an 8.5-point spread in favor of the Baltimore Ravens on the road in Miami. They were expected to win this game comfortably and were never really close. Like, it was a close game at the beginning, and then Miami ultimately pulled away. So you're kind of like, well, what the hell happened, right? Like, what do you make of this game? So I was writing down a list of the things that I think impacted this result and the score generally. Number one, they played basically a full 5 quarters 4 days ago. Like, they were a Sunday game, went almost all the way through overtime against Minnesota, right? And then here we are, Thursday Night Football on the road in the humidity, blah, blah, blah. Rough situation to be in. It's going to have an impact. How much? Who knows? Number 2, Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins on his own is worth about 12 points to this game, right? One of the best throws Lamar had early in the game, under pressure, drops it into the back of the end zone. The ball basically lands right at the back end of the end zone, like where the line is. Watkins just stopped running, like stopped looking for it, took his eyes off the ball, started looking for either the official or the wall or the end line or something other than the football, and just didn't go for it. That's a touchdown that should have been on the board. Later in the game, Watkins fumbles it away. They end up scoring. Like that. Genuinely, Watkins is responsible for a 12-point swing in this game. What else we got? Liam Eichenberg dives on a ridiculous fumble that absolutely should have been Baltimore's to recover. Like 3 Ravens were converging on this live ball in like a triangle, and Eichenberg just dives, like slides his way into the group of them and grabs hold of that ball, recovers it.
That was when
an amazing play.
It was a 2-score game in the fourth quarter, I believe, at the time, right? Like the Ravens needed a miracle. Right. They had the miracle laying on the field, and then, they missed it. Eichenberg recovers.
But perhaps the most important part of this game was the Miami Dolphins' defensive game plan. We were talking about this in our preview on the main podcast, right? Saying that Lamar Jackson is actually doing reasonably badly against the blitz this year, right? Heading into this game, a PFF grade of 90 when you don't blitz him, and a PFF grade of 58 when you do blitz him. So the kind of dilemma was sending the blitz after Lamar is actually a good way of beating him, but doing so exposes you to the risk that he can just take off at any time, put up 50 yards, and you look like an idiot. The Dolphins didn't just blitz him a lot, and they blitzed him a lot. I think they blitzed him. I don't know.
It's about 2/3 of the time.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. I think it's like 75% of the time.
Either way, that is a ridiculous number because the game. We're still working through the final seeing the final data come through as we record this.
At some point, it was 75%. It might have dialed back in those last, like the drive right at the end where they weren't sending the house because the game was essentially won. You know what I mean? And they backed off.
It wasn't just the blitz, though, Sam.
This was.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to finish your point?
So they didn't just blitz him 75% of the time, which is a monster number. But the way they blitzed him, they were using like 2 safeties as essentially, they were rushing in lanes. They were bringing 2 safeties to take away the edge and then running with the regular 4-man front to basically pen him completely in the pocket. So they were sending extra guys, but ensuring that those extra guys didn't leave the space for him to take off and punish them for it.
Yeah, so they were sending the house. They did a great job with pass rush lanes, and I thought they just bottled Lamar up so that he couldn't scramble. But my concern for the Ravens is they didn't have an answer to this. There was a point where the Dolphins, how defense is, you got to change up your looks and all that stuff. They didn't change up their looks. If you watch just the broadcast angle, seeing what the Dolphins were doing, they were 4 across. It looked like a third down defense, and they were running it all the time. 4 across in the secondary. The other 7 guys were right up on the line of scrimmage, and they were mixing it up a little bit. Who's coming, who's not, who's peeling off to cover the back or the tight end. But for the most part, like you said, blitzing safeties off the edge, incredible amount of unblocked pressure, and unblocked pressure with the Ravens not having answers. The funny part is the best answer that they had was that pass to Sammy Watkins early in the game. When you face a zero blitz, you could throw that fade. You got one-on-one coverage. You chuck it up there. You let your receiver go get it. Like you said, probably Lamar's best throw of the entire game, and Sammy Watkins doesn't go get it. After that, they got conservative. Screen after screen after screen. Miami came up, flying to the football, making the tackle, and then other plays where the Ravens just didn't have answers. So I thought the Ravens were out-coached, out-game-planned by what Miami did defensively and the entire game with an incredible blitz rate, an overload blitz rate, and the Ravens just didn't have any answers.
Yeah, but I think even that first pass, the Sammy Watkins one, kind of shows why this is a difficult game plan or difficult adjustment to make or a difficult way of attacking if a team is going to do that to you. Because even that play, he's like running away from two different guys, throwing off his back foot with a dude right in his face, and just happened to be Lamar and put it, exactly where it needs to go. An incredible play. But that's a really low percentage, like highly difficult, very unsustainable thing to be achieving. And that's why over the course of a season, when you blitz Lamar, his grade drops to like the 50s, because it's just not easy to do that time after time after time. Now, he shouldn't have had to do it time after time. Like that one play, if they'd hit the touchdown really early, that might have like spooked Miami out of the entire game plan and, made them back off for the rest of the game. But because they didn't, the Dolphins just kept sending it and sending it and sending it. And there wasn't a way for the Ravens to get out of that. Like Lamar couldn't punish them on the ground because they were keeping him in the pocket. And the receivers weren't doing a good enough job of giving him somewhere to go.
NFL fans hungry for a big win this week? Well, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, they got you covered. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and if they do, you win $200 in free bets. If Sportsbook isn't yet available in your state, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests. And DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and you win $200 in free bets. If they win, you win with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey, Indiana, and Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit, $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. This isn't that far off from what they did in 2019. Remember week one? It was Lamar's MVP season. I think he threw for 5 touchdowns against the Dolphins. Didn't they try this back then, though? They tried to blitz a ton. That was when Minkah Fitzpatrick was still with the Dolphins. He got burned a couple times down the field. Marquise Brown was a deep threat from the slot. Things have changed a little bit, but I think and the game plan wasn't exactly like that. But the Dolphins clearly said, to your point, like let's make these low percentage throws, right? Let's give them low percentage throws or make them have an answer for the blitz, which the Ravens didn't have. The one other piece too, as it felt like the Ravens were trying to make that comeback, bad busted coverage for like a 60-yard gain.
Yeah,
that ended the game essentially for the Dolphins. They get into the red zone. They end up scoring a touchdown to seal the deal. So what does this mean? The Pittsburgh Steelers, man, are tied for the lead in the AFC North with the Ravens. What is happening now in this division?
It's chaos. I mean, not just this division, the entire AFC. Every time you think a team is positioning themselves to take control, to go on a run, they lose. And they generally lose to a team that they're nowhere near supposed to be losing to. It's not like they're losing to other contending teams. Like Buffalo drops the game to Jacksonville. Baltimore drops this game to Miami. Like
watch out, Lions this weekend, man. Watch out for the Lions with the Steelers.
But also, like Tennessee is due this collapse, right? They're the only team that hasn't done that. They've gone on this run of...
But they lost to the Jets.
Right. But then they went on this run of beating good, like 4 consecutive good teams in tough situations. They're the one that's due the comeback. But yeah, the AFC is chaos right now. I don't know if there's a team that you would say has comfortably elevated themselves to this position of being the best or a contender or whatever it is. Frankly, if you have a team you like in the AFC, throw them out there because they've got a shot.
All right, let's most importantly here, good job by the Dolphins, nice game plan and everything, but we got to break down the Robert Hunt play. Robert Hunt with one of the best football plays in NFL history. Sure, it didn't count. But what'd you make of Robert Hunt, catching the screen pass and taking it to the house?
I think it needs to be appreciated for its entirety, right? It wasn't just because you see this every now and again, right? Quarterback gets into trouble, throws the ball blindly at an offensive lineman. He catches it, tries to make something happen, and it's generally pretty miserable looking. This was a screen pass. Robert Hunt, one, mossed his own running back to grab the screen pass out of the air for no good reason that I could see, but go for it. Number two, juked a defender to make the first move and start running towards the end zone. Number three, gets hit at like the 1 or 2 yard line, flips 360 degrees over his head and extends the ball backwards over the plane to score. And then they took his touchdown away.
Touchdown. Why? So first off, I know linemen will turn back to kind of like see the timing of the screen so they don't go downfield too far. So he glances back at the quarterback, and then what? Like instincts take over. He sees the ball and like, well, that must be mine.
I'm
going to get it.
I honestly think he just saw this ball's coming to me. What do you do when something's thrown at you? You go get it.
He really boxed out Myles Gaskin. It was Carlton on Fresh Prince style, where Carlton steals the ball from Will to take the final shot and then airballs it. The only difference is Robert Hunt did get into the end zone. I guess it just didn't count. So anyway, fun little Thursday night game. Everybody was complaining about it. Oh, this is boring. Then Robert Hunt saves the day. Good win by the Dolphins. Questionable outing by the Baltimore Ravens. The AFC North remains